Hey guys, and welcome back to the Survivor Girl podcast. I am here with my lovely co-host Becky.
Hello, everyone.
And if you would like to introduce our guest today.
Oh, yes. Today on the show, we have the infamous Jen Hemingway, or as she's known in the powerlifting circuit, Jan Mack.
Hey.
Hi, everyone.
How's it going?
Good.
Good. Before we get started into that, though, Becky likes to do the disclaimer.
Disclaimer, yes. We are not doctors, therapists, counselors, or trained medical professionals. We are not here to treat, diagnose, or prescribe any means of treatment. We are here to share what we have been through and overcome in the hopes of inspiring and empowering others.
Yeah, so we are working on becoming life coaches.
We are, yes. And we're both in the training.
Yep, along with our producer, Tony, who has already surpassed both of us.
Yes.
But we are working on becoming life coaches, so we can help in that kind of a way. They put a direction in your life, or, along with doing what we're doing with all of this.
Yes,
so,
and we're all talking about going for the master's certification.
Yes, absolutely. So
got a little ways to go, I'll be
little
honest.
bit. Yeah, a little bit.
I'm only in section 3.
Okay, you're further than me.
A little
bit.
bit.
Talk about
Just
my,
a little
my shortcomings
bit,
here.
But you've got so much more on your plate.
This is true. We've got a lot going on.
We have a lot going on. So
Yep. We are already on episode number
8.
8.
Well, it's going to
right. The way that this one comes
complicated.
out. Yeah, the way that this one comes out, we are going to be on. This is number 8.
Yes.
This is being recorded prior to because today we are actually at the Leading Ladies Music Festival over in Birch Run.
Yes, at the Frankenmuth Credit Union Event Center.
Yes,
which is a mouthful.
Yes, it is. They're enjoying 6 different bands. We've got a lot going on there. We have a booth, so if you guys are just catching this, you'll have like 2 hours
left,
or an hour,
yes.
because I hope
but
you stick
still,
around.
even 2 hours, tickets are really reasonable.
Yes. Yep.
So
That's where we're at today. So there's no live chat.
No,
but we'll
there's
be back.
no live chat. But I'm pretty sure by now we've gone live a couple of times at the Music Fest.
Yeah.
I'm
sure. For sure, yeah.
For sure.
So we're glad that you guys are still tuning in, even though we are not able to go through the chat and have the questioning like we normally do. But next week we will have live chat back up and running again. So please tune in. That'll
not
be
next week. Oh. July 2nd, we'll have the live chat back up.
This is so
we do
confusing.
get the one Sunday off, Heather.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's
we do.
right, yeah.
We do. And that episode is just us hanging out, or...
Yes, that's just us.
Mm-hmm. See, we're
doing
time traveling right now. It's confusing.
We are, yes.
It's back to the
future. Are we
future.
talking to the future? Are we talking
going
to the
into
present?
the future?
Who knows?
So we got a couple different things that we want to get into before we start talking with our amazing guest today to tell her story. We just discussed the Leading Ladies Music Festival. We have the Relay for Life coming up September 21st, and that's going to be at the Caro High School. Opening ceremony is at 10 a.m., and actually my band's going to be there playing. So I'm excited.
The unnamed band?
The unnamed band. I don't know what name they gave us.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, we're working on that, though. But we're going to be there playing, and we are the last musical act of the night. So
cool.
Yep. And then also Run Fest is still in swing. It's happening today.
There's no cost for the Relay for Life?
Nope. Relay for Life is completely free.
Okay.
There are different...
Donations are appreciated.
Yes. There's different tables set up throughout, like booths or whatever, if you will, where you're able to go and purchase different things.
Yes.
And that way you can donate in that way. Plus donation boxes, I'm sure, are all over.
I was saying, don't they do something with luminaries?
There is a luminary ceremony. There is the Survivor and the caretaker walk.
Okay.
Which last time I was there hit me pretty hard because it didn't come to my realization that I was both at the same time.
Yes.
So it was like, ooh, and then we had to play after that.
Yeah.
So it really hit hard.
So you were in the emotional headspace.
Oh, for sure.
During that.
Oh, yeah.
Which isn't a bad place to be.
No, it's not. I mean, that's part of the healing process and getting through. But, a lot of times that I feel like with the situation I think that both of us have gone through, you push stuff down.
Yeah.
And it does happen. And then you don't realize it when something like that comes up. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I just kind of worked through it. Luckily, I had my bandmates, their friends, family, so it was like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
We also have we were talking about the Run Fest that's going to be happening. That's going on today also. And there's one more weekend left, the 29th and the 30th. That will be the last weekend. That is at 7464 Frankenmuth Road, between Vassar and Frankenmuth. And the gates open up at 11 a.m. and close at 6. So that's another fun event.
Do we have ticket prices for that?
Ticket prices: adults 13 and up are $14. Children are 3 and 12. I think that's what it says. Those ones are, how did I write it? $8. Seniors 55 and up are 10, and they also have a military and veteran discount.
Oh, nice.
With ID. It's $6 for a ticket. Nice. So they do have that available too. And then moving on, we have Tuscola Palooza coming up. We are going to be out there. We'll have a booth out there. There are 10 bands that are going to be playing. So tickets are $10. It's $1 a band, and the proceeds go to the Tuscola Child Advocacy Center.
So you got it this time.
Woo. I did. So that's awesome, and that will be at 2425 Rossman Road outside of Caro. It's Caro.
Now, are we going to be sharing that booth with those guys from that Don't Make This Weird podcast?
We will be sharing it with them, and also
I hate those guys.
Also, we will be sharing the booth. Hey, I'm one of those guys. Hey. We'll be sharing the booth with Roxanne Paholka from Highly Offensive Hoodies and Uplift Creative Center. So they're going to be out there too.
Right.
And
so they're getting 3 for the price of 1 at our booth.
Yeah, exactly. So come check us out.
What's not to love there?
We're hanging out underneath the canopy, hopefully, and with all of our friends there. And like I said, that's $1 a band.
Yeah,
I mean, that's an awesome event.
That's crazy.
I'll have to get that posted. We'll post it up on Survivor Girl. We've been kind of sharing it throughout the Don't Make This Weird platform and whatnot. Strange Friends Media. And let me see, it opens up at 10. 11 is actual start of the event. At 12 the girl starts and the food vendors are open, and then at 1 p.m. the music will start. So there's that. And then we have another event to talk about. Corky's Dream, which is they're doing a fundraiser October 8th. This event is to help them open up the women's shelter and the animal shelter behind it. So when women and children come in to get help, they're able to bring their animal with them. So it's a great thing that they're doing. And that event will have an auction, a dessert auction.
Nice.
Live band, 30F is going to be joining them, and guest speakers, which I will be one of them.
Didn't I also hear something about cheesecakes?
I'm going to be making some cheesecakes for this event.
Yeah.
And those will be part of the desserts that will be up for auction. So,
and who did you say that band was?
30F. Yep, they're going to be playing. They're also going to be playing the Don't Make This Weird 4th of July bash that's coming up.
Seriously, yes. And that's going to be amazing, which the event has been created and has been shared on the Survivor Girl page.
Yep, so if you guys want to come hang out with us, pretty much I think it's bring a dish to pass, fireworks if you want to donate some money towards that or whatever, and then you're able to bring your own drinks as well. I think there might be some water or whatever provided, but if you're into the other kind of adult beverages, bring your own and be responsible. But come join us, because we're going to have to see what other bands that might want to join us that day.
And a little birdie told me there's a birthday that day for somebody who's very important to Survivor Girl.
Yeah. That's going to be our intern, Kenna.
Yes.
It'll be her birthday, so we'll be celebrating her birthday.
So there's going to be birthday shenanigans as well.
Awesome. So thank you guys for listening to all of the things that we've got coming on.
Yes.
We're just excited about everything that is going to be happening. So
yes. And a little birdie told me that Survivor Girl podcast is also helping out with the 100th episode for the Don't Make This Weird podcast as well.
Yep, we're going to be there too.
So even though we hate those guys, we kind of like to help them out too.
I'm one of those guys.
Okay, you are one of those guys. I hate them guys.
No, you love those guys. Don't even. She does. So, but yeah, that's the other little my other podcast.
I know.
I love those guys.
I know you love those guys.
So yeah, it's definitely a different vein from what we do in the Survivor Girl podcast. So if you guys like a laugh, so we're here with the seriousness.
Yes, we have the seriousness.
And
they
then-
have the laughs.
Yes, and it's not PG. So
Definitely.
so if you
Yes.
want to check that out, please make sure that you have your headphones in if you've got littles around, because
Especially if you're listening at work.
that too. That's a good disclaimer. So that is
Yeah.
also on YouTube channel. That's under the
Yes.
Strange Friends Media platform as
Yes,
well. So.
yes.
And they have got Mitch's Fake Radio, and
Which also isn't PG.
that's not PG either, guys.
No,
But
no.
it is a good laugh.
It is a very good laugh.
And then they are bringing on another podcast called This Is Your Brain On, and then they're going to talk about various subjects. I think the first ones are about music, but they're going to delve into different subjects as well. So, all right, without further ado, now that we've discussed all of the amazing, incredible things that we have going on, we are busy ladies.
Are you sure that's everything?
Is that everything? Did I forget something?
No, I think we are good.
Oh, wait. I did forget something.
Oh, the live auction.
No, I don't want to talk about that yet.
You don't
'cause
want
we're
to
not
talk
ready.
about that? Okay.
I don't have plans on that yet, but it's
Okay.
going to happen, guys. No, I do want to give a shout out to Uplift Creative Center for
Yes.
sponsoring us for this
Yes.
event today.
Uh-huh.
Corky's Dream for sponsoring us for this event today.
Yes.
Jan Vincent McKee for sponsoring us
Sponsoring.
for this event. Also, we want to thank Dig Cafe,
Tuscolapalooza.
Tuscolapalooza, and Stone Cottage Farm from Mayville.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. I'm sure there's going to be more. Like we said, we're doing
Well,
this for the future.
I know you as Dragonfly Boutique and me as Ducky Doodads is also throwing in something for the
Yes.
raffles as well.
As well. Yep. So, and also want to thank the anonymous sponsor of the $100 that helped
Yes,
us to get to
yes.
sponsor Leading Ladies Music
Yes.
Festival. So we just want to give those shout outs, and also to the Survivor Girl Street team. You guys rock.
Yes.
They're going to be with us today,
Yeah.
putting their best foot forward and helping us
Yes.
make it through this event. So
Yes.
thank you guys so very much. Okay. Now,
All right.
I think
now,
we've got
without
everything.
further ado, to the wonderful, beautiful Jan Mack.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome again. I
Thank
know I
you.
said that in the beginning, but we're glad
Yeah.
to have you here today. Part of the Survivor Girl podcast is being able to share stories
Yes.
of what we've gone through and surviving, to help to reach out to other
Yes.
people that are going through it or have gone through it, to know that they are not alone. So we appreciate you joining us to
Yes.
share
Of
your story.
course.
I know it's not always easy.
No.
So we thank you for being brave and jumping on mic with us to
Yeah.
share. So
I was going to say, and I just appreciate your powerhouseness.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
You've
I
got a
mean,
lot of
you and I
cool
both met
things.
Jen at the gym,
Yeah.
and we were just enamored at how much work
Yeah.
she did.
Yes, I was just like, oh, I'm already tired
Yeah.
watching you.
Yeah.
I'm
I
just
hear
going to be
that a
honest.
lot.
But
So-
you are definitely, being there was definitely inspired by
you.
your work and
Oh,
your
yeah.
everything that you did.
Exactly.
And
So, and you're
And
doing
do.
powerlifting competitions?
Yes.
So, what are your PRs now?
Well, the last meet I did was the beginning of May, and I hit a 342 squat. This is in pounds, not kilos, obviously.
Yeah.
143 bench only. I missed
Yeah.
my second and third attempt. Bench is just a train wreck.
Yeah.
And I deadlifted 435.
Holy
Oh
cow!
Which makes me the
gosh.
Michigan State record holder. And
Heck.
I had 4
Congratulations.
kilograms.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And it was easy.
Yes.
It was an easy. I was pissed that I didn't put more on.
And that's
oh,
probably
you're fine.
That's probably why Sarah Beaudry calls you her unicorn.
Yeah, I think she likes me because I just follow the rules. She gives me.
Well-
she could tell me to wake up at 4 a.m. and jump on either leg 10 times each and go back to bed, and I would do it
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I trust her, and
Yeah.
I don't know.
You trust her, and you aren't afraid to work.
No.
I mean, you've got that hustle in you.
Yeah. Well, and the gym's very much like a therapy for me
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
be able to go and have that outlet. And then I just happen to be gifted and have, like, I'm built to be a power lifter, more
Yes.
or less. I'm not petite, and being shorter would be nice, but
Yeah.
what do you do?
Right.
We'll have to share some pictures of Jen on the Facebook page so
Yeah.
they can see
My
how much of
Instagram
a
is
glamazon
public,
she
so-
Oh,
really
okay.
is.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's
And
your
Sarah-
What's your Instagram? We're gonna have to follow you too.
It's Jan Mac.
Oh, okay.
And the it's
That
is
makes
part
sense.
of it.
I'm
Yes.
sure we already are following because we have people that
Yes.
do the social
Yes,
media.
Survivor Girl is following
awesome.
Jan Mac, and
Yeah, I follow you
it
guys
literally
too.
is
Oh.
ITSJANMAC.
Okay.
No spaces. It's
All
Jan
right,
Mac.
guys, check that
So,
out. That is so
yes.
awesome. When you said that you reached the Michigan,
Yeah, I didn't even
got
know
chills.
it was either.
That's
Like, I guess
cool.
the record's only 413, or it was, and that was like my second attempt.
Proving that girls are not wimps.
No, not
Exactly.
at all.
Not at all.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
I would argue the girls are a lot stronger, actually, considering what we have to go through in a lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I would not like to see a guy give birth.
I was just saying, we
Especially
always
with
joke
what
at
they-
work.
Yeah, with what they do with the man flu.
Yeah, if it was up to men to like give birth and, keep up with creation, we'd be extinct within a couple hundred years, easily.
I agree. Yeah. So
Yeah. So,
So-
you guys have known each other longer than
we have.
Yeah.
We have. So like I said, we're comfortable with whatever. You had mentioned that the gym is your outlet and your therapy. Do you want to explain what all happened in your life?
Oh man.
I know it's kind of
Like,
a long
start from
story. Well, didn't it start with the divorce?
Yeah. I would have been 8 or 9, I think, when my parents got a divorce. And then we moved, and my dad remarried like 6 months after their divorce was final. So I got a new stepmom. Didn't like her, didn't get along with her at all. And then we moved to USA. So, and I just was starting middle school. So middle school sucks enough anyway, as it is. And then being the new kid, and then I'm already like 5'9".
Yeah.
I'm not, like I said, I stand out like a sore thumb
You
because I've
do.
always been big compared to everyone, especially other girls, which I hated a lot when I was younger, but I love it now. Yeah, and then, I don't know, I guess I just started being a teenager and puberty started kicking me in the teeth, and that was when I started cutting myself originally. I must have been like 12 probably. And I don't remember the first time or anything like that or what prompted it, but I know that it was my original outlet because it helped me just like manifest physical or like mental anguish into something that I could feel that release, and then I would just like I feel better now. I know that what I just did was not conducive to actually helping me feel better, but it temporarily gave
It was
me
a temporary
that.
release.
Yeah, definitely. So I probably did that on and off for like 6 or 7 years, maybe 8, till I was like maybe 18 or 19.
Yeah.
But then when I was 16, we'll go back a little bit, I got my first serious boyfriend. So, we were in love. Everything was perfect. And he's the one that got me into drugs a little bit. Not anything hardcore like crack or anything like that. But
Right.
I started smoking pot at first. And then I got into painkillers, muscle relaxers, stuff like that. So that was kind of a problem until I was about 21, I would say. And it's funny because I always say that once I was legally old enough to start partying, I didn't want anything to do with it anymore because I had already been doing it for like 6 or 7 years.
Right.
So, yeah. And then I was drinking a lot on top of it. I moved out of my dad's house when I was like 17. I think I went to live with said boyfriend because I knew what I was doing. And my dad
Right.
was just holding me back, of course.
Of course.
So, and then I lived with him for probably a good 3 or 4 years. He was wildly abusive, physically and mentally. It started out mental like it always does.
Right,
They
yeah.
start with the little nitpicky things and just beat down your self-confidence.
It's
And then-
all about control.
Yeah, yeah. So they just, and I was only 16 at the time, and I was in
Right.
love with this guy, right? Like,
Yeah.
he was going to do everything for me. So I trusted him. And then he got really, to this day, I don't know what ever happened, but I think that he was, like, really mentally ill. Like, I
Right,
think he had
yeah.
schizophrenia or something that was not just your standard, like, depression.
Right.
And I know he went through a lot, too. He went through a really, really scary childhood. So I think a lot of that, going into it, I got into a mess that wasn't mine.
You
And
picked
then-
up something you shouldn't have.
exactly.
Yeah.
I got right
Uh-huh.
into the heat of it.
And nobody's ever picked up something that they shouldn't have in this room.
Right.
And I'm saying that sarcastically
Of
because
course.
She's
we
looking
all
right
have.
at me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and then,
Looking
Yeah.
right at Heather, and Heather goes, "Yeah,
Right.
Becky, you have picked up stuff that's not yours
well,
as
and I
well."
know you
So
ladies
yeah,
can relate too.
Oh,
Is like
totally.
you want to help them
You do.
and save
yes,
them.
and
So
you think you
want,
can change them
Yeah.
because you're
like if I love them
Yeah,
enough, then
yes.
I can make them better,
Yes,
and then
yeah,
they'll be
yes.
better, and then they'll stop abusing me. They'll stop
Yes.
doing this. And so I would leave. I'd pack all my stuff and leave. And then I'd come back because, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't mean it. You know, he'd pull that card. And then, and then things would be really great for a while. Like, he'd be buying me gifts and tell me, just shower me with love. And I'd be like, oh, I was so silly, like, to think I was ever going to leave. So I must have done that, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 times before I actually... I met who was my best friend at the time in high school. I met her the last half of my senior year. And I started hanging out with her while I was still dating this guy. And she actually was the one that convinced me, like, you need to get out of here. You're so young. Like, there's no reason that you should be having to deal with this all right now.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to go to I still can't believe I got a college degree. Like, I literally had to have been drunk the whole time. And I still am like, you somehow managed to graduate. Like, I look back at that time and I'm like, how did I even make it out of that alive?
But that was something that you were probably focusing on to get away from what...
Oh, that was the only time I could leave. Right. Yeah.
So.
And we lived out on Bay Park Road, which is out by, like, the Unionville, way out in the boonies.
Yeah. Yep.
And I went to Delta. So I got my nice hour drive, there and back. So that was the best time.
Decompression.
But I would drink 2 40-ounce beers on the drive to school.
Yeah.
Like, so, and then by the time I would get to class, I would just be sloshed. Like I said, I don't know how I passed school or anything and never ended up in jail or the ditch. Like, it still blows my mind. Mm-hmm. But then, she eventually convinced me to leave. So I packed my stuff up and I moved. I showed up at my dad's house. I didn't tell him I was coming.
Yeah.
Because I had told him I was coming and then I would never show up. And then I told him I was coming and then I would never show up. So this time I just showed up and I was like, Dad, I'm serious. Like, I'm home. And of course, he started crying. He was so excited, helped me unpack my car and everything.
Yeah.
And then one day I'm at home and I'm home by myself and I'm taking a shower and I turn around and my ex-boyfriend's standing in the bathroom at my dad's house. Like, he had let himself in somehow and it was in the house. And I'm like, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And he tried to convince, and I'm like, you have to leave right now. I'm going to call my dad. I'm going to have the cops come. So I did end up calling the cops. He left early. And then I never have spoken to him since. Wow. To this day. Yeah, like, after a while, like, he would still drive by the house once in a while and cruise by, but he would never try to come in or talk to me or anything. And that's actually part of the reason Jan Mac came about, is because Sarah wanted me to make a Facebook so I could be part of the pack, but I did not want to put my name on there because I didn't want anyone to be able to search me.
You. Yeah.
Right.
So, and my last name used to be McLean, so that's where the Mac came from. And now that my name's changed, I might be able to put it on there, but better safe than sorry. Plus, Jan Mac has stuck so much that I can't deviate from Jan Mac.
You actually have become a powerhouse in the state of Michigan.
There's people that
Jan
think my
Mac,
name's Jan.
So,
like, when I go to meets, they're like, "Oh, you're Jan." I'm like, "Yeah." I don't ever. I don't tell them otherwise.
Right.
And it just comes out very easily.
Yeah. It does.
So.
Yeah, she'd say that to me, and I'm like, "Wait, Jen?
Jan? Who is Jan, Becky?"
When they announce my name, they're like, "Who's Jennifer Hemingway?" Like, oh, it's her. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, it's Jan. Okay,
right.
Jan. Yeah, we got
I should
this.
see if I can get Alex when she starts directing the meets to just cut out the middleman and just announce me as Jan Mac.
Well, I was gonna say, celebrities have their names that are not their own. So there you go.
It could work. We'll see.
It could.
Maybe if my bench press ever goes up,
well,
I'll get.
Well, yeah. So how did you get into the powerlifting?
Actually, Becky, I got my athletic background. I always was an athlete in school. I lifted weights all 4 years of high school. I had a really, really awesome gym teacher, Mr. V. He was like an old bodybuilder. Yeah. He wore a crop top hoodie to school every day. He was so funny. I would always remember him. But so I had some experience lifting weights, but then I started getting into a very not weightlifting lifestyle, so I didn't lift for a while. And then my best friend and I won a free year membership at Caro State Street Fitness. I don't even remember how we entered or what we did to win that, but somehow we got a phone call saying we won a free year. So we went up there and joined the gym and started going together, and I was the cardio bunny. I'd get on the arc trainer for like 2 hours, and I didn't really know. And the weird thing is, I knew what I was doing. Like, I had done a barbell back squat. I had done a deadlift. Yeah. Like, I had that experience, but I guess I just didn't think that I would pick it back up. I don't know. So then I started doing these programs. They're from Ashley Horner. They're like these cardio bunny programs. I would run like 8 to 10 miles on the treadmill and then just do like hundreds of reps of these exercises. I'd be in the gym like 6 days a week, 3-4 hours at a time. Right. Like, just insane workouts. Because I literally one of my biggest strengths and weaknesses is that I will work myself to death. Like, especially physically, I can be a total workhorse and I can just keep working. So I would,
we've seen,
and then when you have that mental anguish just
Right.
fueling you, like I'd just be in the gym for hours, just trying to like exhaust myself so much that I could just go home and just crash and not. So then, but I had always known Sarah. She's the resident badass at State Street Fitness for
Right.
sure. And I'd always admired her, and I had known had been really close with Becky and Dale always. You
Yeah.
know, we had coffee and stuff and would hang out, and they knew how much I looked up to Sarah and how much I admired her, and so they gifted me with a free. They bought my first month of training for Sarah as a
that's
gift. Yeah, I
awesome.
know,
Yeah.
and I will
That's
remember
so
it as
cool.
long as I live. And I remember you guys coming to my first powerlifting meet still too. I have
that's
pictures of
awesome.
all of
So much
us.
fun.
I know. I'm so
Yes.
glad that Dale got to see
Yes.
one of the meets.
Yes.
Yeah, so then they got me going with my first month, and I just figured I would learn a little bit with Sarah in the month, and then I would go back to being on my own. And Sarah's like, do you want to train with me? Like, you want to get on board? And I've been with her ever since.
That's
It's been like 2.5
awesome. Yeah.
years now. Yeah,
Wow.
so
Yeah.
That
she
is
writes
so
our
cool.
programming, and then I do whatever she programs. And
Wow.
yeah, when I started out, I think I squatted like 245. I could barely bench 135, like maybe once in a blue moon, and it was like, Jesus, take the wheel.
Yeah. Right.
And my deadlifts have always been pretty good. I'm a naturally strong deadlifter, but I've still put quite a bit on since training with her. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's been
That's
great.
Awesome. So do you have any events coming up? Any meets that are coming up?
Actually, I won't be powerlifting again until the first weekend in December. Is
Do you
my
have to
next
take a
meet.
break from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
I
makes
like to
sense.
do it a lot because prep is so hard on your
I
body.
bet.
mean, it's like super heavy weights and a lot of volume, and it's really exhausting for your nervous system and your body, and that's how people get injured because they just want to train. I see people on Instagram that do like 4 or 5 meets a year.
Wow.
So they'll do a meet and then they're immediately prepping for the next meet, and then they're done and then they're immediately, and I'm like, man, you're making me tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People think I'm crazy, but I'm like, at least I'm not this crazy.
Right,
Like, I'm
you
not
take time.
constantly just doing heavy weights all the time.
Right.
July 21st, I'm doing a Muddy Princess 5K
Nice.
with Sarah. She's got a group of her boot camp girls, I think, going. So that's a female-only obstacle course style 5K in the mud. Never. The last time I ran a 5K was with you on St.
Oh,
Patrick's
yes.
Day,
Yeah,
like
with
3
Dad,
years
yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was
Yeah.
amazing.
That's the last time I've ran.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
so
haven't
that'll be
ran.
interesting to get back up to running.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to it 'cause it's not like a straight race. It's just an obstacle course.
Yeah.
And then Sarah and I have been talking about doing a strongman competition in the end of September.
Oh.
Cool.
So I might pick that up. But that would kind of interfere with prep for the state meet, which would be December. So I don't know. But strongman and powerlifting are kind of similar. So
Yeah.
I don't think it would take away from it too much. So yeah, this summer I basically just eat like a horse and train really heavy and hard and just work on getting strong.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I mean, with what you were talking about earlier with starting up the cutting and stuff, do you think that maybe something like what you do now with the heavy lifting and stuff would be something that other people might be able to? Is it like just to focus something other?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
like
I mean, I
said-
think that you had said you'd gotten away from that before you kind of started doing the lifting or whatever.
Right.
But I mean, what kind of advice would you have for somebody
For
that's
somebody
going
who
through that
is
right
going
now?
through it, Yeah.
That's so tough. I guess the big thing to remember is that you're not by yourself, and there's a lot of other people that are going through the same thing you are.
Right.
And I don't want to be that person, but there's a lot of people that are also going through a lot of worse things than you are.
Right.
Uh-huh.
So, and not to say that one person's experience is more important than another's, but I always just remember that there's people out there that are going through like unthinkable things, and they just have it so much worse than me. And remembering what I do have, like, reminding yourself to be grateful. Like, I can wake up in my house, I'm a homeowner, I have a husband, I go to school, I work full time. So just remembering like why and how important I am. Like, I don't know, I can't think of a good.
Well, I mean that is good. I mean, it's good to remember, there's more than just where you're at the moment. I think,
Yeah.
Definitely.
and I think, I wasn't trying to say that that's where your outlet has coming, but I think in a
Yeah.
lot of things that we we face in life, which I don't know anything about that part of it, other than experience it with a very close family member, and I always would be there for that person and hold them while they were going through.
And that's the best thing to do, instead of trying to fix people and tell them, and my family did not take it well.
Right.
It was like, what's wrong with you? Like, why would you do this? You have so much to be grateful for. Like, why would you even, you're just being rude at this point. And I went to therapy for a little bit when I was a kid. My parents made me. Yeah. And now that I look back too, I don't blame them. Right. Because what do you do? If you're a parent and your kid's going through this, like.
That's probably your only defense that you can probably think of.
Yeah. I mean, what are you going to do? Ground them or something? Like, you can't. You need help from an outside source.
Yeah.
And sadly, a lot of times that I've seen that happening where they ground them, and it's like, that's not going to help them right now.
You're just isolating them further. They're going to sit in their room and think about how much they hate you, and what you have. How much you're.
Did you feel? It's kind of a touchy subject, but when you were cutting, did you hate yourself? Or
yeah, I mean, and I still struggle with that. I definitely have the manic depressive bipolar brain and right now, I mean, it's hard for me to put it into words right now because I feel 100% fine right now. Like, I feel totally like myself. I feel chill. I'm like, what's the big deal? But then when you hit those highs and lows, it's not even, you can't even explain how awful you feel. Like, where it's like, I don't even deserve to be alive. Like, why am I even here?
Okay.
If I were to fall off the face of the earth right now, Jordan would get remarried. Like, my dad, these just awful thoughts just come in your head, and it's like, where are these even coming from?
Yeah.
But you just have to, I always remind myself too that this too shall pass.
Yes.
Like, everything that you've ever been through, it'll pass. It always will. And everything will be okay in the end. And if it's not okay, then it's not the end yet.
Exactly.
And also remembering that everything is a lesson. And I know it's like super cliche. And like, if you were telling me this when I was 14, I would have left the room and slammed the door probably. And been like, this is so annoying. Yeah. But it's so true. It is. And also to act as an advocate for other people that are going to go through the same thing, because you see stories now about kids that are like 9, 10, and they're just doing like, it's so, and I remember being that age and starting this journey and just knowing like nobody's there. Like, what am I going to do? I don't have anybody. So you do though. You always have somebody.
Yep.
I was going to say, I know at one time I had seen your scars on your arm in the gym, and I'm like, what's that about? And I survived is what you told me.
Yeah.
And then you went into the story, and I'm like, wow.
Right. And I, for a long time, would always like
I tried to hide
have my arms down, or I'd be the one wearing a hoodie in like 90-degree weather because that was the goth thing to do or whatever.
Yeah.
But now, and one day I was actually at school and I noticed a kid sitting next to me had like fresh scars all over his arms. And I just showed him. I was like, I promise you it gets better. Like, I don't know anything about what you're going through.
Right.
But I promise you it will get better someday. And your scars will heal and you'll be able to talk about it. And it will be okay. Like, it really will be okay.
Yeah.
So if you could talk to your 14-year-old self, sitting here now, seeing yourself as a productive adult, what would you say to yourself?
Honestly, I always would say that you're fine. You're going to be fine. And I would focus on myself more. I would not have worried about And I know, like, when you're 14, boys and drama and all that is, like, peak what's going on. But I would have told myself to not even worry about what other people are doing. Focus on myself. Focus on my education. Focus on... building good habits, building good money habits, things like that I would love to have now as an adult. And I wish I would have started learning when I was that age. Don't worry about boys. Just worry about your future and think about what your future self is going to be able to do with your time now. Right.
That from the scars grow amazing things. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And to not take everything so seriously. Like, you're going to go through stuff and it's going to happen and you're going to be fine. It's going to suck while you go through it. But in hindsight, you'll be like, that wasn't that bad. Like, I made it. I thought it was bad. I thought I was dying. Yeah. But, I'm okay.
So you said that you would have taken better care of yourself. What are some of the things you do now to take care of yourself. Make sure you're doing
Yeah.
well where you're at.
I make sure to give myself time by myself every day. That's a big one. I'm usually up at like 5:30 or so. I give myself a couple hours. I wake up and drink coffee and just chill. I wish I could say that I meditate regularly, but it's more of a like once in a when I get the once in a while when I feel motivated when I wake up, which who never feels motivated when they wake up.
Right.
One thing that has helped me a lot is eating more regularly and eating better, because I was vegetarian for 12 years.
Yeah.
From the time I started middle school until last September.
Oh, wow.
I didn't eat any meat. So I was on this whole like, oh, well, you know, I'm the epitome of health because I don't eat meat. Meanwhile, I would eat like a whole box of Pop-Tarts at a time or something ridiculous. So now I just realized that I have to balance what you eat. And that doesn't mean to not eat good stuff, because I also will eat a whole package of Oreos now still.
Right.
But
right.
But, you know, just make sure you get your vegetables in is a big one, and drink enough water. Not drinking alcohol is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not I still drink alcohol sometimes, once in a blue moon, but definitely cutting that out has helped.
Yeah. I mean, and there is definitely something into making sure that you are taking care of yourself within diet. Diet is a huge thing, and I've learned this recently, and I'm glad that you kind of talked about this, because been going through like a adrenal fatigue kind of situation, and there are a lot of things that you're supposed to cut out, and I thought, oh, I'm doing better, I'm good, you know, and then I brought something back and it was not a good thing. So definitely drinking a lot of water, like you said, and diet is really important. I never used to think so. Right. I was like, I'll eat whatever I want.
Well, when you're really young, you think you can get away with it, like, because you can eat whatever you want and drink whatever you want, and you can wake up the next morning and feel 100% fine and be like, what's the big deal?
It doesn't phase you, you know.
Right. But now it's like, if I were, you know, when I start eating bad, I start feeling awful. My gym performance tanks. I can't lift weights that I should be able to. I feel tired. I get winded. I don't feel good about myself. Yeah. When I get dressed, I'm just like, oh, you know, I just don't. But then when I do eat good, I'm like, oh, I'm like the Hulk. I feel great all the time. You know?
Right.
And even though nothing has physiologically changed on my body, like obviously I haven't lost fat or made body comp changes in a day, but just eating differently makes you feel so much better that it, you know, it makes that big of a difference for sure.
Yeah, but it definitely does. And I've noticed that too I've noticed that too throughout this journey, that sleep is important too.
Oh my gosh,
it's hard though. For me, it's very hard.
Yes.
I'm always constantly go.
Yeah.
But sleep is super important. But when you're, like you said, when you're younger, you don't think about this
you
stuff.
can get 4 or 5 hours a night and be good to go.
Well,
and
I used to sleep like way past noon when I could push it. My mom would be like, "Are you gonna sleep all day?" Yeah, probably.
If I could,
probably.
I would. Yep, totally. And now I'm like in bed by 8:30, 9 o'clock usually, up at 5:30.
Have you found that with eating cleaner and doing the things that you do? I think you'd mentioned with like depression and different things. Have you noticed that with changing that up, that it helps with staying on point with that too?
Yeah, definitely. Because like I said, when I'm eating good, I feel better about myself. And then when I feel better about myself, I'm less likely to spiral down and start, you know, those thoughts don't creep back so much.
Right.
And when I don't eat well and I don't feel good about myself, then I start to feel like, oh, well, you're just, you know, you're worthless. You're not good at anything, you know, and it's amazing how quickly it can escalate.
It can.
Like you can eat 2 or 3 cookies and like within an hour, you're like, oh, I'm trash.
I can't believe I ate
that.
Right.
And like I'm not even worth being here.
Growing up, I had a thing like, God bless my mom, rest her soul and everything. But as a kid, we would go pick my brother up, and she'd be like, okay, we're going to get a candy bar. And like, these are the big candy bars. And she'd like, hurry up and eat it. Don't tell Dad. So we'd hurry up and eat that. And this was everyday thing.
Right. Well, and that kind of starts that closet eating, you know.
And that was something that I dealt with growing up. It was like, oh, so I'd always hide it. Like, and I even until probably about last year, I started realizing, oh my gosh, I've done this my whole life. I'd go out in my car, I'd go buy something, and I knew it wasn't going to be good to my body.
Right.
And I'd still just be like, oh, okay. And then I eat in the car and hide it.
Right. Well, like, and then I think realizing that, and I've struggled a lot with like binge eating. Yeah. Like I'm really like gung-ho with whatever I do. So I'm either like super disciplined and I don't miss a workout, I don't miss a meal and everything, or I like go way off the other way and I just like eat a whole gallon of ice cream in one day and like I'm completely sedentary. You know, it goes either way. But I've had to teach myself that, like, just because you're sneaking food and you're getting away with it, you're only hurting yourself.
Exactly.
Like, nobody else is, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
you're only hurting yourself, and you're only making that behavior more likely to be continued because you're like, oh, I got away with it.
Yeah.
Like, I ate this whole candy bar and nobody saw me. Nobody's going to care if you eat a candy bar. Like, the only person that you're messing with is yourself.
And I don't know if you found with when you get like a stress or anything, if were you like motivated to go and like eat your feelings. I grew up that way.
100%.
Yeah, so I mean it's
And
like
I
a
have to
vicious
tell myself
cycle.
too, like, food will not solve your problems.
Yeah.
Like, if you're having a bad day at work, eating a box of Mike and Ike's is not going to make the customers be nice to you.
No.
It's not going to make, it's not going to make the internet work better.
No.
It's not going to do anything but make me feel worse.
Yeah.
And I just spent my $1 on candy, and it's like, and I think about how many dollars I've probably spent on just, I'm just going to grab this real quick and grab this real quick. So meal
We all
prepping
are.
is important for that.
Yeah.
But then I work in a grocery store.
That
There's
makes
food
it harder.
everywhere.
That makes
and
it
like,
harder.
We'll get vendors that come in and bring us new products.
Yeah.
So then we get that. Or, somebody broke open a bag of chips. So I guess we'll just eat it in the pricing office.
Right.
So it's like, but then I've had to learn too that food's obviously going to be everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I always would say, I'll get a job that's not in a kitchen because I always worked in a kitchen.
Right.
Yeah.
So I got a job in an office in a grocery store and there's still food everywhere.
Yeah. So
And-
it's definitely breaking it down and trying to figure out where the root of everything is
right.
starting.
And the root is always going to be you.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
it's always the change has always got to stem from you.
Yeah.
It's not anything external that's going to change unless you're going to ship yourself off to a deserted island with no people.
And you have somebody buy. I always said,
Yeah,
oh,
and
if
they're
I
going to
get-
drop like Hunger Games style. They're
Yeah.
just going to drop some food down for you.
I used to say, if I had the money, I'm going to get myself a chef. Well, so that way I don't have to go to the grocery store. They
Right.
can cook all my meals and everything will be
Right,
prepared.
but that's
and
not
then
going to mean birthdays don't show up
that
and
doesn't mean-
Christmas, and you're
no,
still
that
like
doesn't
food,
fix it.
No,
You
it's
have to
not.
fix it within inside
Yeah,
yourself.
definitely.
Yeah.
And that goes with everything that we've been talking about. I mean,
Right.
really, it's hard to make yourself be accountable. It's
Yeah.
hard to
Yeah.
actually sit down and be like, okay, where am I at with
Right.
this?
Well, and you can't
So you
lie
can't
to
do it-
yourself.
And a lot of times you don't have to do that alone. That's why
Yeah.
people are trained professionals to be able to help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And really, if you do go to seek counseling or whatever choice it is, you have to want to be there for yourself.
Yeah.
Though.
Well, it's like people, when they say they're going to quit smoking cigarettes. Like you can show them all the evidence and tell them all the horror stories and show them the commercials. But if they don't want to do it, they're not gonna. And I used to be a smoker, so I
Me
know
too.
how much it sucks to quit smoking.
Yep.
But you got to get tired of your own crap
Yep.
eventually and just say, I'm going to make the change and I'm the only one that can do it.
And I think another important thing is like we were talking about, there's days where you just will, okay, so I ate this whole thing of, like you said, Oreos or whatever. You have to be able to tell yourself that you can forgive yourself for
Yeah.
that and
Right.
get back on
Yeah.
track.
Yep, the
Instead
biggest
of,
thing.
I ate that package of Oreos, so I can eat these chips today
Right,
because I'm
might as
already off the
well.
wagon.
I heard
you
a
know.
quote once that was like, trashing your whole diet because you ate one piece of cake is like slicing all 3 of your tires because you got a flat tire. Or like, you dropped your phone, so now you're going to beat it with a hammer.
Right.
Like,
No,
like
you're not
just
gonna do
leave
that.
it the way it is and repair it and go back on track and it's not going to matter.
Yep.
And when it comes to things like dieting and stuff, consistency is what is going to be king.
Oh,
I
for
mean,
sure.
you can have somebody that is great 5, you know what I mean? Like most of the time they're great,
Yeah.
but then on those other days they just go completely off the handle and do whatever they want.
Yeah.
And it's like you have to build, whether it's with, meditating every day or eating healthy, you have to build those little habits,
Yep.
like the little daily habits.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people fail because they try to quit smoking and quit drinking and go into the gym and they're going to quit drinking pop and
Everything
they're going to do
at
this all
one
on
time.
Monday,
Yeah.
January 1st. And it's
No.
going to work. All these habits are going to stick and they're just going to change their life.
Too much at once.
Yeah, it's
you
like
know?
chill out. You got the rest of your life.
Yep.
I have people come to me all the time for weight loss and they'll ask me, what do I do? I say, just eat a little less and move a little more.
Yep.
That's it.
That's
There's
for
your
real.
$500 advice.
Yep.
There
There you
it's like
go.
or quit drinking 2 liters of pop a day. Like
Yeah.
maybe swap one of them out for a bottle of water,
Right,
Take
right.
the stairs instead of the elevator. It's
little
little
steps.
stuff that really add up. You can hire a $500 a month personal trainer
Right.
But if you don't
start
it,
with you, it's
you
really
gotta,
starting with you. Do you have any inspirational like authors that you may read or that you'd like to share with somebody that might help them on something that they've gone through? The same
I will
as you.
admit I have slacked on my reading. I have to read a lot for college, so
makes
then
sense.
I don't want to read at all for
Right.
fun, which I love reading. I've always been an avid reader my whole life. And I'm always really bad at this question because I'm not an extrinsically motivated person.
Okay.
Like I'm not the kind of person that needs something else to motivate me from outside.
That's
I have
good,
enough.
though.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely
but
a strength.
you have read a lot of good books.
Yeah. I was just saying the other day to a girl that one of my favorite books to go back to and read is Eat, Pray, Love.
Oh, yeah.
Which I've never even seen the movie.
That's
I'm
okay.
always a book over the movie person if I can pick.
The movie was overrated. The book was way better, and I think you were the one who suggested Eat, Pray, Love to me.
I love that book. And it's one of those books that I can just come back to and read it again and again.
Yeah.
And you get something new every time
that's
you
a
read
good
it.
one. I'm trying to think of any other books that I've read.
I know when you first got here, because there are a lot of books here in the studio, we were talking about Jen Sincero, You Are a Badass, and a different series that she's got going on. And that was one that spoke to Becky, myself, and I know Tony.
Yeah.
I was able to listen to that while I was at work painting ornaments.
That's perfect, yes.
But yeah, I mean, that's a definitely a good book if anybody's looking for some motivational. And she's funny.
And I loved listening to it so much I had to actually have a paper copy.
Really?
So I could write.
I love reading a book.
You know, I'm one of those people who like to write their notes and highlight their important things.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm like a multitasker. So if I'm listening to a podcast, I'm probably doing something else at the same time. But when you're sitting there with a book, you're like physically sitting there with the book, and that's the only thing that has your attention. Another good series that I read was Conversations with God.
Yes.
Oh.
I haven't read it in a long time, and it's one of those books that I should get back to.
Yeah.
But it completely just like shattered everything that I thought I knew about reality and like the way the world works. And I'm not an overtly religious person or anything, but it was like just mind blowing.
Right, it spoke to you.
Yeah.
That one
Oh
for
my
sure.
gosh, completely.
I've never read it, so I'm gonna have to check that out.
I think I have all three of them at home even.
There's actually 4 now.
Is there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
Yeah, see, I'm behind. Like I said, I haven't read it.
Yeah. See, like I had a hard time with doing the reading, and yes, I do a lot of different like audio books because while I'm at work, it's just easy for me to be working and I can put my headphones in. But I found before I had the weight loss and everything that I would get really super tired when reading. So now I'm just starting to get back into it because I've got, a little bit more energy and stuff.
Yeah.
And a nice thing, too, that our library here in town, they're doing a summer reading program for adults and children.
Nice, yeah.
So they do have where you go and check out a book, and when you return it, you fill out a slip and you can put it in. They have different prizes.
Okay.
So there's like, I don't know, there's like gift cards and different things. So when you go and do that, you can turn that back in. So it helps to get you back into reading, but you also get a cool prize.
I remember when we had to read for the personal pan pizzas from
Yes.
Pizza Hut.
Yes. Yep.
Book it.
And I would always like blow those, like, because like I said, I love to read.
Oh,
So it'd be
yeah.
nothing for me to just read. I'd read like 3 times as many books as I was supposed to just because I liked reading so much.
Oh, yeah. Yep,
And-
definitely.
That's so true. And I got, I got that from my dad. My dad's always been a reader. He wakes up every morning and reads. He reads his Bible every morning.
Yep.
So yeah, I got that from him definitely. But then, like I said, when I have to read for school, like
Different
100
story.
hours a week, yeah.
Different story. Yeah, I don't
Well, and I'm
blame
the same. Like, I'll sit down. If I were to sit down with a book, I would almost 100% be sleeping within like 3 minutes.
Yeah,
I'm turning into an old man. Like, I sit down and I just kind of
Not off
yeah.
with the reading. Yeah, that
Totally,
happens. Head in the
totally.
book, print on your face.
Textbooks do that to a person.
Yeah,
My husband
textbooks are a
always
little dry.
laughs because what do you want to watch on TV? So he'll let me pick out a show, knowing that I'm going to be sleeping within the first 5 minutes,
Yeah.
and then he can change it to whatever he wants anyway.
But that's sweet of him to
I know.
offer that part.
I know. He knows me too well.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
How is that with everything? I'm sure that you've shared your story with him.
Yeah. He's great about that. He actually was part of the catalyst of what got me away from drugs. I met him, and we actually met through the party scene.
Yeah.
Because we knew the same people, and we would get into the same shenanigans. So we met that way and just kind of clicked. And then, he kind of got me away from that house that I was living in, and we got our first apartment together.
Oh, that's cool.
And then it helped me clean up. I quit smoking cigarettes. I quit using any prescription drugs. I don't even take Tylenol anymore. It makes my stomach twist. But, yeah, so he kind of got me into that, and he's really great about that. He's not pushy.
That's awesome.
He'll just say, are you having a day? I'm like, yeah, I'm having,
right.
Like, I don't know. And he used to be like, well, what's wrong? Well, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? I'm just like, I don't know. I just feel awful right now inside, and I just want to just hang out and watch TV.
It's
and
hard
not do
when
anything.
you don't. It's hard when you don't know and you don't know how to explain. My
like I'm just overwhelmingly sad right now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Why? You can't. It's hard to explain. My fiance does the same thing. What are you thinking about? What do you think? Which I love him. Thank you for that.
Existential grief.
Like,
I don't know
right? I don't, but I don't know how to explain it. I'm like, I don't know. I just have a lot going on right now. I don't know. So now he's learning. He just sits with me until and whatever, So that's awesome to have a partner like that, and or a good friend that's there for you.
I was
going
to say my response is, which specific thing do you want to know about me thinking? Because there's about 50 things
exactly
going in my head. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. Always something going on.
Well, and like you mentioned, to go back to talking to somebody, whether like a trained professional, sometimes it doesn't even have to be, because like I can't afford therapy. I know most people can't. It's expensive, and a lot of insurances won't cover it or won't cover all of it. Yeah. So, I mean, you're looking at $100, $200 a pop to go see a therapist.
Right.
I don't have that.
No.
So, sometimes even just talking to a friend, like they don't have to be an expert, but sometimes just saying the things out loud.
Yes.
And then you realize, like, oh, okay, it doesn't sound that crazy when I say it out loud. Or like, oh, you've been through this before too? Like, oh, okay.
Reach out.
And it doesn't even have to be, like I said, it doesn't have to be a therapist. It can be a stranger online.
Yeah. There's been so many different stigmas about mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And now I think I'm so glad to see that people are starting to accept that it's out there.
Yeah.
I mean, like I always said, you take a room of people and say, okay, raise your hand if you're bipolar. How many people do you think are not going to raise their hand?
Right.
I mean, honestly, or if you're going through depression, or if different things like that. And it's like, okay, we need to really start accepting that this is a real, true issue. And more now that we're seeing actors and actresses that have been passing away because of suicide, and so it's just like, okay, we need to be able to be okay to talk about it.
Well, and I think a lot of people don't even know what they have. Like a lot of people, because we're getting to the point in society now where people talk about depression, they're like, oh, well, just cheer up, like go outside or drink some kombucha or something.
Right. No.
And so then you have people that have these legitimate feelings, like they honest to God need help, and people are just downplaying it. So then it's like, who has depression? They're like, I don't, I'm just a wimp. Like, so they make it feel like I'm not worthy, like I don't have a real disease, or I don't really need help. I'm just having a tough time. Like I'll be fine, and then they just kind of push it down and push it down and push it down.
And then it explodes.
And then one day they're so overwhelmed with just grief, and they don't know what to do with it, and they don't know why. And then people ask what's wrong, and it's like, I don't know. Like I just feel hollow and empty. And like, I don't know what's wrong with me.
That's a scary place to be.
Especially when you're a teenager. Like life is so hard when you're a teenager anyway, and everything's just so complicated. And then you constantly have people tell, oh, you're fine. Just, you're just going through a phase. Like I had a bad day once.
I think parents need classes to be able to help their children with that time, because they get so caught up in their work and everything else that's going on. And I get that. Like, I know it's a fast-paced world, but I think if we're able to have like just courses for them to be able to go and talk with other, like support group for other parents, because we need to be able to see these things in our children and to know what to do.
Advent of social media, you're not always going to see the bullying that's going on. So you have no idea unless you know what to look for.
Definitely.
There's got to be, I know there's more groups and there's more things that are out there now to be able to know what's going on, but it's hard when you don't know. And like you said, being a kid and not knowing what is going on in you or what's going on. At some point you kind of have to work with your parent or whoever that it is that's trying to help you to figure out. It's not them just purposely pointing a finger at you and being like, no, you're fine, you're good. Sometimes it does happen that way. But if you know somebody else who is an adult that you can reach out to, maybe your teacher, maybe a friend's mom, maybe, whatever you have to do so that you do not feel like you're alone to be able to get the
Mm-hmm.
help you need.
Right.
That's the best thing you can do for yourself, I think.
And I think
and not be ashamed.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's really important for adults and parents to remember that just because they're going through some tough times, like, kid brains are not the same as adult brains.
Right.
So, like, you think, oh, it's just, you know, being an adult sucks. It
Right.
really does. And you have a lot of grief that kids can't understand. But kids, you know, they don't get that. So by you telling them, like, oh, well, you should try having bills, you know, like, you have no idea how hard life is gonna be. Like, that's not making them hopeful.
It's not
or anything.
helping.
Yeah, no, you're just making them feel like, oh, okay, you know, I'm just being dramatic. I don't have a real problem. You know, my parents know what real problems are.
Or I'm just another
kid.
bill. Or I'm just another bill to them because I'm
right.
right.
And they don't want to get me help because, you know,
it's going to cost.
Yeah.
You know, so
Right.
that's, I'm sure there's, like I said, different groups out there, organizations.
Yes.
And that's something that with Survivor Girl that we're trying to do too, because we want to be able to have them to have an outlet.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, so we can try to help out as many people as possible. And we thank you for joining us and
Yes.
sharing your story with us.
We will be sharing
For
the
sure.
numbers that we've been sharing every episode
Yeah.
again on the page.
And I'm always open for people to message me,
Okay.
like random stuff. Like I
Okay.
said, my Instagram's all public, so if people have questions, I'll talk about just about anything. I
Awesome.
don't really
Okay.
have any shameful.
Can you go ahead and say your Instagram again?
Oh
that
yeah,
way?
okay. My Instagram is at it's Jan Mac, and I don't have a Facebook, so you can't follow me there.
But the best way to get in touch with you
Yeah, the
is
best way is
I
through
was
Instagram.
going to say,
definitely.
and if you have a question and you can't find her on Instagram, go ahead and shoot Survivor Girl a message and
you can pass it along.
we can pass it along. And
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so just remember, everybody, that at whatever age that you're at right now, whatever you are going through, there is always hope. There
Always.
is always somewhere to reach
Yes.
out. So please do not give up on yourself. Do not give up. Do not quit fighting, because there is an outlet. There is somebody out there that is there for you.
and,
No matter how it is, whoever you can find, just
and
know.
I think
And like
another
you
big thing is you're loved more than you realize.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
are loved more than you realize.
And like you said in your intro, like, if one person can hear what I've been through and are kind of like, oh, that's kind of sounds like me, you know, like maybe it'll be okay. Like, even if only one person hears that and is like, maybe I should go to the gym or something,
Right.
you know, and they do.
And they figure something,
That's
an
awesome.
outlet,
Yeah,
or whatever.
right. Like, if one person does that, then they can help their friends,
Yep,
you know, and it's kind of that
exactly.
ripple effect.
Yep,
Yeah.
and that's what we hope to continue doing with Survivor Girl
Yes.
podcast. So
Mm-hmm.
if you guys are liking the episodes that we're sharing, I mean, we're getting guests on that are sharing their stories and we're sharing ours.
yes.
If you know somebody that needs this message, share Survivor Girl podcast, share this
Yes.
episode, share and subscribe on
And-
the YouTube channel.
Yes, hit that notification bell.
Yep, so you know when we go live.
Yes.
And that way we can help reach as many people as
Yep.
possible, because that's what we're trying to do here.
Our next live episode is July 2nd with Heather and myself.
Yeah.
And as always, you can join us in the chat and ask questions there.
Yep.
And be better, not bitter.
Yep, and remember, guys, life is best lived.